everybody. Daniel Feuerstein here for Beyond the 90 as the U.S. men's national team falls to Canada 2-1 in the third place match of the 2024-25 CONCACAF Nations League third place match. Third place match. I never thought I'd be saying that, third place match. Well, now they're in fourth place because Canada finished third in this third place matchup as Mexico and Panama will be battling for the CONCACAF Nations League title for the third time for Mexico, the first time for Panama. But, you know, how it's really, really baffling to watch what we saw here, ladies and gentlemen. This entire CONCACAF Nations League just really says to you, are our players ready for something like this? Are they ready for any type of tournament energy to be used to play in these types of tournaments? Has the success of the CONCACAF Nations League Championship gone to their heads? Because they didn't show anything against Panama, and even though it might have been a tick better against Canada, once again, we saw sloppy defending. We saw poor passing. And even though they got the goal by Patrick Agyemang, who, I mean, let's be honest, was a good shot. Luckily, it deflected off of Dane St. Clair. I screwed up his name. I didn't mean to. I apologize. Dane St. Clair. I mean, it deflected off his feet and then it went in. Excuse me. um, you know, outside of that bit of brilliance from both Agyemang and from Diego Luna, there wasn't much left in this one. Nothing. And, there's only so much blame you can put on a coach like, well, of course, Mauricio Pochettino. I look, you can blame him for substitution issues. You can probably blame him maybe a little bit tactically. But in reality, I mean, we're going to have to be honest. We got to blame the players. The players did not show up in this tournament. They were not there emotionally. And if they think they can go into a CONCACAF Nations League or even in a CONCACAF Gold Cup, whatever tournament they're going to be in, and they think they can just tiptoe through the tulips and just easily tap the ball over the goal line and say, we scored a goal and this is what we're going to do. No, you're mistaken. Because once again, if you want to be still considered one of the best national teams in this region, and granted, there's not really a lot, but when you are facing these teams that you face all the time, and one of them has been a team that has a better head coach right now, and they have found multiple ways to beat you in important tournaments. Gold Cup semifinals, Copa America group stage match, now CONCACAF Nations League semifinal, and then you got another national team who you have one of your own managing your neighbors to the north, and he has changed them significantly. And because of the way he was treated, that he thought he had the job and they pulled it away because they went back to the old standby and decided to take the job up north, and right now has turned their national team around. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Common sense will tell you, or shall I also say, ergo, you're going to get your butt kicked. You're going to get your butt kicked. Thomas Christensen has done an amazing job with Panama. Jesse Marsch has done an amazing job with Canada. And while there are a slight blip of a positive in this match, even though they lost 2-1, Patrick Agyemang scored his third goal in 4 games for the U.S. men's national team. 3 times he scored, twice as a starter, once as a substitute. Diego Luna has assisted in 2 games, once as a starter, and this one assisting on Agyemang's goal. You know, you gotta say for Diego Luna, he's definitely the future of this national team, and I really believe he should be in the midfield with both Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, where's Gio Reyna fit in all this? Well, let me just say this to all of you Gio Reyna supporters. As much as I like Gio Reyna, and yes, I agree with you that Gio Reyna is also important in this national team, he needs to fix his issues. Either he's got a bad attitude or he's getting too injury prone for his own good. And he can't stay healthy. And he's got to go to a club that wants to use him, or else he's not starting. And once again, the energy, the energy is not there. Now, look, I understand they were missing Ricardo Pepe. I understand they were missing Anthony Robinson. They were missing several key players like Serginho Dest, coming back from injury or currently rehabbing from injury or just recently got injured. And that's also a problem. Mark McKenzie, unfortunately, I just think Canada just abused him pretty badly. And as much as I like Mark McKenzie a lot, you know, former Philadelphia Union center back, now playing in Europe, you know, he's got to be better than what he showed in this matchup because he was taken advantage of by Oluwasi and by Jonathan David. But outside of that, once again, it's just really baffling to see the emotional level of this national team not being what they are. And look, I mean, sooner rather than later, they're going to lose a Nations League final or a Nations League semifinal. But the way they lost it was really strange and baffling and very, very disappointing. Mauricio Pochettino has his work cut out for him right now. And, look, as I've said already, you got 2 friendlies in June. You got the Gold Cup in June. You have friendlies in September, October, November before the draw will be later on at the end of the year in December. Where that location once again will be, we'll find out. And then you're going to probably have some friendlies in March. And then you'll have some friendlies before the World Cup starts. But after everything that we've said here and everything that we're talking about here, the real culprits of this blame, and while there has been, a new leaf turned running the Federation, once again, the blame it must fall on top of President Cindy Parlow-Cone, CEO JT Batson, and Sporting Director Matt Crocker for allowing Greg Berhalter to continue in a second cycle, which he should never have been continuing into in the first place. And if we did not have this issue 2.5 years ago, now 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, we wouldn't be in this mess, would we? We wouldn't be in this mess. But once again, you want to screw around when you're hosting a World Cup, you want to screw around and you assume that keeping the last head coach was the smart thing to do, and look where it got you. And while, like I said before, you can blame Pochettino for a couple of things in this CONCACAF Nations League, and that's fine. I think he'll warrant the criticism. But once again, the rest of it is out of his hands. His players assumed They can just walk on the pitch at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, and just cakewalk again into a Nations League final and face Mexico. Well, you didn't face Mexico, you faced Panama, and you lost at the death. You took on Canada, and you got beaten pretty good. 2-1. They outdefended you, they blocked your passes, they blocked your shots, they clogged the passing lanes. And as grateful as I am that we do have Mauricio Pochettino, one of the top managers in the world, once again, if your guys are not going to be up for the match, then what's the point of having a great man like Pochettino managing you? Let me go to Jesse Marsch here, because even though he's managing Canada, he's still an American soccer coach. Jesse Marsch deserves all the praise in the world for what he's done for Canada. I know there's some Jesse Marsch haters, but guess what? This is what he can do. This is how he does it. This is the belief system that he has and the technical awareness that he can bring. And yes, I understand his frustrations because of the two situations that he felt should have been penalties. VAR reviewed, no contact. I understand he's upset because of the VAR refusing to review that penalty, which should have been called as a penalty against Mexico. But once again, VAR officials just are not doing their job. Not doing their job and allowing Mexico to get away with not being penalized and giving Canada at least a penalty kick attempt to level the match. That did not happen. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, as I sit here, I'm very disappointed in the players. I am also upset with Pochettino's lack of substitutions in the semifinal against Panama, because he should have made more and he refused to do so. He made 2 substitutions. Third one he was forced to make due to injury. And, he tried to be more proactive. And once again, the only positives in these changes in this matchup against Canada was seeing Patrick Agyemang and Diego Luna making a difference as much as they could. And when he finally subbed in Brian White, and I thought he had the tying goal right on his boot, and unfortunately got blocked, or he just missed, and it got cleared away. It is heartbreaking when you have players coming into these types of games, regardless of where you believe the Nations League belongs in. The point is, it's here. It's to assist all the nations in the Confederation, the best to the worst. And as of right now, the U.S. men's national team just showed their worst. They showed their worst. They fell apart. They basically tried to cakewalk it, and then they paid for it. And they deserve to lose. They nearly lost to Jamaica in the semifinals in the last the last CONCACAF Nations League semifinal, if it wasn't for an own goal by Corey Burke. And then finally the U.S. puts in 2 goals of their own under Greg Berhalter. But that was the start of everything going horrible. Everything falling apart right in front of our eyes. And I understand that Pochettino only has so much time to work with these players because he is the national team head coach. He's not a club coach over here. He's the national team head coach. But when he gets his players in a room, I think he's going to have to be a little bit more forceful, a little more stern, lay down the law, and let them have it. I think he should have let them have it once the final whistle blew. I don't care if it's going to be in the locker room or it's going to be out in the corner outside on the pitch, period. He has to put his foot down and lay down the law. because this is the one part that Greg Berhalter failed to do. And if all of you are going to say to me, well, look at what Greg's doing now in Chicago. No, club football is completely different than international football. So there's no comparison here. And if you're saying you want Berhalter back, well, you're bigger fools than I thought you would be. So I don't want Berhalter back. I'm happy with Mauricio Pochettino. But let me also say this. Once again, it does not matter who is on the pitch where you play your football, either domestically or abroad. If you're going to be good for the national team, you will be a good player on the national team. Today and on Thursday, they were not a good team. They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. And they need to fix themselves in a hurry. We're in the month of March, April, May. Oh, June's coming very soon. So June's coming very soon, and that means 2 friendlies and then the group stage of the Gold Cup. And it's not enough that whoever they're going to be drawn with, that they got to take care of business. I mean, they really, really got to take care of business, and they got to really show that they're ready for this. So there's no more poo-pooing the Gold Cup. It's on, folks. It's on. It's real. This is real. I'm not happy. You're not happy. I'm not happy. We're all not happy. Pochettino has some things to change up. He's got some things to fix. And it's time to make sure that 23 or 26 man roster for the next FIFA World Cup next summer in 2026, we get the right players on this national team and they do a job. And once again, to all of you who are U.S. men's national team fans who only want Americans abroad to be on the national team, you're looking foolish now? Good. I hope so. Because right now, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not gleeful. I'm not even smirking. I'm upset. I'm ticked off. 2 big busts in this one. And they didn't play well enough to get the result. So it's time for these players either put up or shut up. I don't care if you play for AC Milan. I don't care if you play for Bournemouth. I don't care if you play for Borussia Dortmund or Juventus or PSG. I don't care if you play for Bayern Munich. When you put on that shirt and it has the stars and stripes on it, you put in your heart and soul for your fans here in this country, whether you're at home or abroad. Get your act together and fix this as quickly as possible. Or else, it's time to bring in some new young blood. I don't want to hear about greatest talents in the world. I don't want to hear about golden generations. How about raising your compete level and showing how hungry you are for goals and wins? Do that for me first, okay? Do that for me first. Join us here on Beyond the 90, whether you're going to read our articles here about lower level soccer, the U.S. men's and women's national teams, of course, the youth teams, the boys and girls, CONCACAF events, World Cup qualifying, the World Cup itself, the U.S. Open Cup, and many, many more. Join myself, Kartik Krishnaiyer, Brett Mullenix, Jonathan Starling, Alex Ashton, and the rest of our writers that covers the game in this country at a lower level position. My name is Daniel Feuerstein, and don't forget, not only can you watch this video here on Beyond the 90 at beyondthe90.substack.com, we also have our YouTube page. Just type in the search bar Beyond the 90, or you can listen to the audio version of this podcast either through Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Once again, my name is Daniel Feuerstein here for Beyond the 90. Thank you very much for listening and watching me here. Try to have a good day, everybody, and be safe, be kind. Have a good night.